Hey yo, what's poppin', my fellow music lovers and listeners? Welcome back to Multifaceted Media Entertainment. And today we got a brand new video for you guys. And in today's video, we're gonna be talking about this brand new album by Drake, and it's called Certified Lover Boy. So without further ado, you know how we do. Let's get into the video. So the album kicks off with the song Champagne Poetry, which is a play on the Champagne Poppy moniker that he identifies by on Instagram. And this is honestly a pretty promising opener to the album. I love how it starts off with this sample-based production. I love how it plays throughout the entirety of the track but switches up towards the midpoint in favor of this more choir, gospel-esque, soulful production style. It's still the same sample, just flipped in a different way, and I think it sounds very, very good. I also do like Drake's subject matter on the track as he raps about his success, his potency in the game, the relationship that he has with Future, and then towards the back end of the track he kind of sheds some light on some of the ways in which this fame and the spotlight has affected his life in a negative manner. So yeah, pretty good opener to the album, and this kind of set my expectations sky high for what the rest of the album could potentially sound like. But the next track, Poppy's Home, was not quite on the level as the first. I do like the sample in this instrumental as well, not quite as much as I did with Champagne Poetry, but it's still a good sample. I do think though that Drake's subject matter was a little bit underwhelming, considering the fact that he's just rapping about how he's he's the father to all these rappers in the game. And I'm not against that subject matter in general, I just don't think I appreciated hearing it that early on in the project. He also had Nicki Minaj say a few words on the track, which is quite fitting considering the fact that she was the one who always used to say, "These bitches is my sons," in almost every damn track. Overall though, I would say this track is pretty enjoyable. The album didn't take much longer to have a significant nosedive though, with the next track, Girls Want Girls, feature Lil Baby. And this song was a letdown in every regard. The beat was minimalistic and boring as hell. The subject matter was absolutely cringe and boring. Some of the bars on the track were cringy as hell, especially when Drake said, "You said you are a lesbian, girl, me too." And that's just, oh my god, that's one of the worst lines I've heard all year. And it's lines like this that make me think that, man, if Drake wasn't so wealthy, he definitely wouldn't be so notorious for being with multiple women. Because if these are the pickup lines that he would be approaching women with as a poor man, he definitely wouldn't be getting a lot of them at all. But yeah, Lil Baby's on the track as well, and he does kind of add to the corniness here and there, but his verse was much better than Drake's, especially the fact that his delivery was much more lively than the monotonous, somber delivery that Drake was bringing to the track here. But that definitely was not enough to save the track, and overall this track is absolutely terrible, and I never want to hear it outside of the context of this album again. I wasn't a fan of his somber delivery on the next track featuring Lil Durk and Giveon, called In the Bible either. The beat on this track is very minimalistic and it tries to create this kind of atmospheric vibe, which doesn't work too well with the already somber delivery that Drake is bringing to the table on the track here, especially during the chorus, which is absolutely boring, almost mind-numbingly so, and this was the moment that I knew that I would have difficulty getting through the entirety of this project. Durk does bring some energy and charisma to the track though, not enough to save it in my opinion, but it would have been an absolute snooze fest if he wasn't here, and I do appreciate what Giveon brings to the table during the outro as well. The next track, Love All, featuring Jay-Z, is definitely a step up from the last track in my opinion. Not the greatest thing in the world. Drake still does have kind of a monotonous delivery that is kind of boring, but it is a step up nonetheless. And on this track, Drake and Jay-Z both go over the topic of disloyalty among friendship. It's not the craziest verse from Jay-Z either, as he does have some questionable bars on the track as well, like when he says, "Only thing we expect now is violence. Anything besides this, we play in violins." Like, I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Is he just playing on the fact that violence and violins are homophones? But what does it mean in the grander scheme of things? I'm not quite sure. The next track, being Fair Trade with Travis Scott, is definitely a highlight though. The tempo picks up significantly. Drake does some nice vocal inflections throughout his verse. I did enjoy Travis's contribution on this track as well quite a bit, and I love how the beat switched up to kind of accumulate his verse. I think it was very, very nice and it worked very well. But this next track, Way Too Sexy, featuring Young Thug and Future, is probably the cringiest track on this entire project. It samples the song I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred from back in the 90s. The beat itself isn't bad except for the I'm Too Sexy for my that repeats constantly during the background of the instrumental that gets annoying as fast as hell. And the energy throughout the track isn't bad as well. It's just the cheesy ass subject matter that makes this track absolutely terrible. It does have a pretty funny music video attached to it though, so I'll give it that. But man, this album is an absolute slugfest. It is absolutely unbearable to listen through all the way, being 21 tracks long. On the topic of 21, I do think his feature on the track Knife's Talk was a highlight on the project as well, and by now we can safely give 21 Savage the most improved rapper of the decade. But I did absolutely hate the repetitiveness of the damn chorus. Gang shit, that's all I'm on. Gang shit, bruh. Just throw that in the trash, man. Anyways, I'm tired of talking about the duds on the project. The song 7 a.m. on Bridle Path is a lyrical assault directed at Kanye West. As everyone and their grandmother knows by now, they have a beef going on, as petty as it may be. But yeah, he does take a lot of shots at Kanye on here. Even the title of the track is a shot at Kanye, being a reference to the fact that Kanye brought out his ex-wife Kim Kardashian in a wedding gown at one of his listening parties. But yeah, this is probably the best written track on the album in my opinion. Another highlight in the track listing is You Only Live Twice, featuring Rick Ross and Lil Wayne. Loved the production on this track, and both Rick Ross and Drake do kick off the song very strongly with two solid verses in my opinion. Lil Wayne did go in on the track as well, but I just think the tone of his voice just didn't meld quite as well with the overall sound of the song in my opinion. Another highlight on the track is IMY2 featuring Kid Cudi, and it actually surprised me quite a bit just the amount of chemistry that Kid Cudi and Drake shared on this track. Their voices really did complement and meld with each other quite well, and I did enjoy the production on this track as well. But overall, this project in my opinion is a certified L. It really shows no advancement, no growth in Drake's, artistry. And it's really even more disappointing when taking into consideration the significant delay that this album had before it actually was released. I usually don't expect that much from Drake projects because I haven't really been a fan of his last couple of outputs, but just the length of time that he was working on this album just kind of gave me a bit of optimism as it relates to me looking forward to this album. But yeah, as I was saying, overall this album shows no growth in my opinion, which is disappointing. This album, while it does have some highlights, especially towards the back end of the project, is just over bloated with a lot of unnecessary filler songs and a lot of songs that should never have seen the light of day. And that's why overall I'm feeling a solid mid or 5 out of 10 on this project. But if you disagree or agree, let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think about the project on a whole? I'm not really feeling it that much, and from what I've been seeing on the internet over the past couple of days, a lot of you haven't been as well. But yeah, definitely hit the like button, the subscribe button if you want to hear more content like this, and hit the notification bell so you keep getting notified whenever a new video drops on the channel. Once again, this has been Multifaceted Media, and I'm signing out.